Hello, my divine souls. Welcome to Spiritual Bloom, where we bloom within our consciousness, with your spiritual guide and twin flame coach, Neha. In today's episode, we will be talking about transmuting sexual energy into creativity. And this topic is not just important for spiritual awakening, but it is also important for people who are into a twin flame journey. So, what if I tell you that the same energy driving lust was the exact energy capable of building empires? The urge you feel at night, the craving, the obsession, the tension, most people they waste it. But history tells a different story. Some of the greatest creators, inventors, warriors, musicians, and even spiritual masters believed sexual energy was more than just physical desire. They believed it was a raw life force. And when redirected instead of released impulsively, it became creativity, discipline, vision and power. So this is the art of sexual transmutation. Now, why am I discussing this topic about sexual energy and transmuting it into something useful, something creative? Because when your kundalini arises, no matter you are in a spiritual journey or in a twin flame journey, when your kundalini arises, what happens is your root chakra starts evolving, starts healing, as well as your sacral chakra also gets activated, which makes you more sexual. You crave more sexual desire. You crave your counterpart. So, in that time, when your kundalini is arising, many people waste this sexual energy. They waste it by fulfilling their desires. But you can utilize this sexual energy. And in this episode, that is what exactly we'll be discussing, that how to transmute such sexual energy. Now, I'm not telling you here to control your sexual energy, but to transmute it into something useful. So let's first understand that what is sexual energy. Let me tell you that sexual energy is not just about sex. It's life energy. It's the biological force designed to create life itself. And because it is such a powerful force, it affects your emotions, motivation, focus, confidence, and also ambition. Just think about it. Why does desire make people write poems, start business, make music, transform their bodies, or change their entire identity? Because desire is fuel. And the same desire when you're sexually active is the desire which you can put it into many creative things. So the problem is not the energy. The problem is unconscious consumption. What is the problem? The problem is unconscious consumption. When you consume your sexual energy for unconscious purposes, that is how you waste it. Because modern society trains people to discharge this energy instantly. Scroll, stimulate, release and repeat. And over time, the mind becomes addicted to dopamine without creation. You get addicted by pleasuring yourself. You get addicted to watching more of porn. So, in this process, what happens? Consumption replaces purpose. But transmutation that I'm talking about here is completely different. Because transmutation means redirecting your energy from lower expression, meaning lower vibration, to higher creation. Again, I'm telling you, it is not about suppressing your pleasures, but it is about transforming it. So, Where does the danger lie when you misuse your sexual energy? Most people in today's time are overstimulated and underproductive. They require constant gratification, and this constant gratification weakens tension, and tension is necessary for greatness. Every masterpiece that we have today in this world was born from tension. A musician, for example, hears something incomplete inside themselves. Similarly, an entrepreneur feels restless and dissatisfaction. An athlete burns with hunger to become more. So the inner friction that keeps moving, that movement, is the main thing. But when every urge is instantly satisfied, the fire disappears. You become passive, you become comfortable. And this is why so many people feel drained without understanding the reason why. Because their energy is constantly leaking into distraction. And getting addicted to pleasuring yourself or watching porn videos, porn movies is a distraction. Not just physically, mentally, emotionally, and also spiritually. It shows that you don't have a spiritual hygiene. Attention is energy, meaning where your attention goes, your life follows. That's why many people are so much addicted to sexual activity nowadays, because they don't know what to do with that energy. That energy is the most strongest and the powerful energy that you can ever utilize in your spiritual journey. So now let's go to the past, like from where this idea of transmutation came. The idea of this sexual transmutation is actually ancient. In Eastern tradition, this force was called life energy. In Taoism, it was believed that conserving and redirecting sexual energy increases vitality and spiritual awareness. In yogic traditions, energy could rise upward through discipline, meditation, breathwork, and purpose. Every influential thinkers, they spoke about this concept. For example, let me bring to your attention about Nikola Tesla. It was reportedly discovered that he practiced long periods of celibacy, believing that it sharpened his mind. Napoleon Hill called sexual transmutation one of the most powerful principles of achievement. Now here, they are describing these things, or I am supporting sexual transmutation not because sexuality is bad, because powerful energy can either control you or be directed by you. Like fire can cook food or burn down a house. So the energy itself is neutral. Your awareness determines the outcome. Where do you utilize that energy determines the outcome. So let us understand that how this transmutation actually works. So how do you actually transmute sexual energy? First, understand this very clearly, that you cannot merely resist your desire. You are a human being, so you cannot resist your desires. But you must redirect it, because energy needs movement. If you simply suppress your urges without purpose, they build pressure and eventually explode. But when you channel them into creation, they evolve. Now here's how. Use physical movement to transmute your energy, because the body stores energy physically, and exercise transforms restlessness into momentum. Movement changes the state, and many people relapse into destructive habits because their energy has nowhere to go. And when the energy doesn't have any place to go, people, they relapse into their old habits. Secondly, create immediately, meaning the moment the desire appears, you should create something. Write, film, design, compose, do anything that you like. Train your brain to associate intensity with output. The urge becomes fuel. So instead of escaping your emotion or suppressing it, you convert it into art, into something meaningful. Thirdly, eliminate overstimulation. Your brain was never designed for infinite novelty. Constant stimulation destroys focus, and silence restores sensitivity. So when you reduce artificial stimulation, your natural drive returns. Music feels deeper, ideas become sharper, and that is how the motivation increases. Fourthly, develop a mission, meaning purpose organizes energy. Without direction, desire becomes chaos. But when a person has a vision, the energy automatically rises towards that vision. The strongest people are not necessarily those with less desires. They are those with stronger purpose than temptation, because their purpose is winning here. Their willingness to accomplish that purpose is winning here rather than their temptation. So they are not fueling their temptation, they are fueling their purpose. But here is a psychological shift in all these things. What happens? Something changes when a person stops being controlled by impulse. They become magnetic. They become focused and grounded. Not because they are repressing themselves, because they are no longer fragmented. Every great creator understands concentration and how important it is. To create something extraordinary, energy must be unified. And scattered attention creates a scattered life. You can never achieve that masterpiece or that art which you want to make, because your attention and your energy is going somewhere else. But directed energy creates what? It creates momentum. You begin speaking differently, thinking differently, and carrying yourself differently, because your mind senses power being accumulated instead of wasted, and your brain understands that. And eventually, creativity becomes more pleasurable than consumption, and that is the real transformation. That's why when your Kundalini arises in a twin flame journey, specifically, you get addicted to your counterpart. You have these sexual desires, you are addicted to them, you obsess over them sexually, and there's nothing to feel shy about it. But remember that why that sexual energy has come to the surface because of Kundalini. That sexual energy has come to the surface because of Kundalini awakening, so that you use that energy and not waste it by getting sexual or by pleasuring yourself. You're simply wasting that energy. So the main purpose of your Kundalini arising, or that sexual energy coming into the surface, is simply because you have to make use of that sexual energy. And once you know how to control and use your sexual energy into creativity, you will no longer be addicted to that side of sexual pleasures. You will no longer be addicted to your counterpart. That's why all these things, they are a part of your inner work. Why do I tell you that inner work is so important? Inner work is important because these minute things like transmuting your sexual energies when they come to the surface, how to handle them, how to balance them, you have to know. Because when you get addicted to sexual pleasures, it's not just good, it's harmful for your body and your mind as well. It creates brain fog. That's why you should utilize this energy, and firstly, before utilizing it, you should learn that how do I apply these energies in my daily life, without obsessing over the other counterpart. The universe did not awaken that sexual energy for you to waste it. That sexual energy has the power of creation. When it can create a child, then just imagine the power of creativity. That means when you put that power, when you put that into your creativity, your art, or whatever you are good at, that is going to pay back. That's why I tell you, you have to do your inner work properly. And when you do your inner work properly, you can automatically balance these energies and you'll have this awareness. And once you have this awareness, what will happen? You will understand where to actually transmute these energies properly. And when you transmute these energies in a proper way, in a disciplined way, you will never become a victim of any kind of addiction. Now here I'm talking about sexual addiction also, which is very common when your kundalini arises or you are in a twin flame journey. At one moment you will become very addicted to sexual, like getting intimate. And sometimes it happens that you are in separation. So what will you do? You cannot keep on pleasuring yourself, you cannot keep on wasting that energy. So you have to learn how to transmute it. And how will you learn that? Through your inner work. You have to balance it. And when you balance it, the outcome is great. So sexual transmutation here it's not about shame. And it's not about denial either. It's not about pretending that desire doesn't exist. We all are humans. Of course, we have desires. We have sexual desires. And it is normal. But it's about mastery. How do you master that energy? How will I put that energy into my creativity? So the ability to take one of the strongest human forces and consciously direct it towards building the life that you want. Because inside your desire is energy. And inside this energy is a creation. You are a creator, you are an alchemist. And inside creation is the person you are capable of becoming. And once you realize that your sexual energy has the power of creating any kind of creativity, any kind of talent, then you will understand that who you really are. Most people spend their lives chasing temporary pleasures, but only few they learn to transform that energy into purpose. And you people are lucky because you are chosen, or you are in a twin flame journey. So the sexual energies that you feel is not ordinary, it's not normal. It has a purpose. That's why your kundalini awakens. It awakens for a purpose. So the question is, will your energy control you, or will you create something unforgettable with it? It's in your hands. How do you do your inner work? How do you redirect that energy into something meaningful, something purposeful that you have come here for? That is in your hands. So, if you like this episode on transmuting your sexual energy into creativity, you can like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you for supporting me, listening to me and tuning into my channel. For any kind of personal guidance, you can WhatsApp or email me. My contact details have been given in the description box and mentioned in the video. I provide 10 to 15 minutes demo before booking any session or any counseling sessions or guidance sessions. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you again in another episode.